Can I work for a little bit? Dad's got to do a quick little video for YouTube, okay? Here's Cloud, guys. Say hi, Cloud. Say bye, Cloud. Hey, guys. Adam Francisco here. Welcome back to my channel. This video is not sponsored by Trader Joe's. But I got to say, guys, I do love their coconut body butter. If you guys want to get your skin nice and smooth and smell delicious, you gotta get some Trader Joe's coconut body butter. It is fantastic. Oh, amazing. Anyway, guys, I'm about 2 weeks late to this video, but I saw this meme, I guess it's a meme, on my Facebook yesterday about this new act that Governor DeSantis down here in Florida just passed recently, and it's called the Law Enforcement Protection Act. I believe that's the right name. Yeah, I got it. Law Enforcement Protection Act. And basically the purpose of this law, you ready for this? This is why I love living in a Republican state. This is why, because we have law and order. The purpose of this is to combat violence, disorder, and looting. It's amazing. It's so smart. So Governor DeSantis, as most Americans, fully support peaceful protests. Not mostly peaceful. We want peaceful protests. If you peacefully protest, no issue. Please, gather in as many numbers as you want to. Hold up your picket signs, chant whatever you guys want to. But as soon as you start to destroy property that doesn't belong to you, well, that's when there becomes an issue. That's when it becomes an issue, especially when in these riots that have been happening across America, mostly in Democrat-run cities, people are destroying property owned by people of color. So you're protesting against inequality towards people of color by destroying people of color's property. It's mind-boggling. So I got to say that Governor DeSantis is on absolute fire. Not only is he the first governor who really opened up Florida state, this is just amazing, right? I think it's the right thing to do at this point. But also, he has done everything he can to reduce rioting and looting. And I'm going to go through the details of this act right now for you guys, but this is incredible. So Governor DeSantis said, "Our right to peacefully assemble is one of our most cherished as Americans. But throughout the country, we've seen that right being taken advantage of by professional agitators bent on creating disorder and causing mayhem in our cities. I will not allow this kind of violence to occur here in Florida. The legislation today announced will not only combat rioting and looting, but also protect the men and women in law enforcement that wake up every day to keep us safe." Beautifully done, Governor DeSantis. So not only is he trying to reduce rioting and looting from happening here in Florida, but he's also backing the blue, supporting the blue. And this is why you're seeing in the news recently a new movement called Refund the Police. Refund the police, right? So New York, they slashed $1 billion as a knee-jerk reaction to the BLM protests. It took $1 billion. Well, now crime in New York City is spiking. Seriously. This is so out of control now. Some thug, some criminal, punched Rick Moranis, cherished actor, while he was walking down the street. Are you kidding me? It's out of control. So I'm pretty happy to see here that we're not going to go in that direction down here in Florida. We're not going to let it happen. We're going to keep law and order. Who's bothering me? Okay. So let's go to the new criminal offenses to combat rioting, looting, and violence. And I strongly encourage every city across the country to adopt these measures. This is such an amazing blueprint. Governor DeSantis, he did the work for you guys. There's 5 new criminal offenses to combat rioting, looting, and violence. Number 1, prohibition on violent or disorderly assemblies. 3rd-degree felony when 7 or more persons are involved in an assembly and cause damage to property or injury to other persons. So you can gather in groups, but you better not destroy someone's property or cause any injury, or now you got a 3rd-degree felony on your hands. Number 2, prohibition on obstructing roadways. Now, we've all seen videos on the internet, on Instagram, on TikTok, of protesters blocking roads and putting drivers in these horrible situations where these drivers are fearing for their life, so they have to either just accept the onslaught or they have to drive through the protesters. What do you do? So now, in Florida, if you do that, 3rd-degree felony to obstruct traffic during an unpermitted protest, demonstration, or violent or disorderly assembly. This is the best part. Well, it's not the best part because I don't support violence or injury of any kind. But here's the reality. The driver is not liable for injury or death caused if fleeing for safety from a mob. I mean, so that to me is it's so messed up that we have to even think about this. But the reality is, if you're sitting in your car, maybe you're coming home from work, maybe you're going to the grocery store, and a violent mob surrounds your car and makes you feel unsafe. You now have the right to flee, to flight, to escape, to evade danger. And if someone gets hurt because they put you in a situation, the driver's not liable. This, in my opinion, should reduce people surrounding cars, trying to bully them into submission. I don't even know what the point of surrounding a car is. Is this Grand Theft Auto? Are you going to try to steal the car? I don't get it. But I think this is a great policy. Number 3, prohibition on destroying or toppling monuments. Second-degree felony to destroy public property during violent or disorderly assembly. That's great. If the property is not yours, you have no right to destroy it. If you want to destroy property, go home, go into your living room, go into your kitchen, and destroy stuff there, okay? Then it won't be a crime. Prohibition on harassment in public accommodations. First-degree misdemeanor for a participant in a violent or disorderly assembly to harass or intimidate a person at a public accommodation, such as a restaurant. We've all seen the videos of Rochester where people were out having a nice dinner, and then this angry mob of BLM protesters and Antifa just really interrupted their meal, and the people had to leave and flee in fear.
We're shutting the party down. Nobody's going to touch you. We're shutting your party down. Calm down. Calm down.
Can't happen down here in Florida. You do it in Florida, that is now a criminal offense. Governor DeSantis has your back. Here you can enjoy meals in peace and not have to worry about being interrupted. Seriously, that's just a wonderful thing. And then RICO liability. RICO liability attaches to anyone who organizes or funds a violent or disorderly assembly. Now, I don't know what RICO is. Let's see what RICO means. Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's an act. RICO is a United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties in a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. Interesting. So if you engage in a violent or disorderly assembly, you are now liable under the RICO Act, which, again, I think is good. It increases the punishment for violent or dangerous assemblies, so that's great. Increased penalties. Mandatory minimum jail sentence. Striking a law enforcement officer, including with projectile, during a violent or disorderly assembly. 6 months mandatory minimum jail sentence. That's right. If you attack a police officer or you throw something at a police officer, like a Molotov cocktail, you're going to be in jail for 6 months minimum. Well done. Well done. Offense enhancements. Offense and or sentence enhancements for throwing an object during a violent or disorderly assembly that strikes a civilian or law enforcement officer, assault battery of a law enforcement officer during a violent or disorderly assembly, participation in a violent or disorderly assembly by an individual from another state. So you can't really travel out of state now to cause havoc, which we're seeing a lot of rioters do that. They go from one riot to the other riot and they just go around the country. So here we go. The final 4 protection measures they call citizen and taxpayer protection measures. Number 1, no defund the police permitted. Prohibit state grants or aid to any local government that slashes the budget for law enforcement services. So now if you're a local government and you want to slash your budget and you want to defund the police, you're going to get punished by not having state grants or aid. It's wonderful. We should not be defunding the police. We should be refunding the police, meaning giving money back to police that have had their budget slashed. But secondly, we should be increasing budget so that we can afford better reforms, right? If you want better equipment, better cameras, more options, better training, longer training, all that's going to cost more money. I mean, we know this. These are facts. Number 2, victim compensation. Waives sovereign immunity to allow a victim of a crime related to a violent or disorderly assembly to sue local government for damages where the local government is grossly negligent in protecting persons and property. So if a person feels that their local government hasn't really done the right job in protecting them, for example, if a local government defunds the police and somebody feels like that affected their safety, that local government is now responsible for reducing that person's safety. So that now puts some of the accountability onto the government not to do that. It's a wonderful thing. I love self-accountability. It's great. Number 3, government employment / benefits. This is a great one. A lot of us wonder, how do all these rioters go out and riot for 100 days straight in Portland? Like, where's their income? Where's their job, right? A lot of them are probably getting money from the government. Let's check this out. Government employment benefits. Terminates state benefits and makes anyone ineligible for employment by state local government if convicted of participating in a violent or disorderly assembly. So if you're collecting state benefits and you're found to be a rioter or looter, guess what? You get those taken away from you. No more. You can't have it. You can't suck from the teat of the government if you're going to be rioting and destroying and looting people's property. That's great. And then number 4, bail. No bond or bail until first appearance in court if charged with a crime related to participating in a violent or disorderly assembly. Rebuttable presumption against bond or bail after first appearance. And a lot of these democratic cities, they're bailing rioters and protesters out and putting them right back on the streets before they've even stood for their crimes. So this is creating a cycle. Catch the criminal, catch the looter, put him back in, they loot again, they destroy things again, catch them, rinse and repeat. Here in Florida, that's not going to happen. You have to appear in court before you are allowed to get your bond or bail, which I think is fantastic. So that's pretty much a sum up of what's going on down here in Florida. This happened 2 weeks ago. I can't believe I didn't hear about this till today. But I definitely wanted to make a video about it because I think that this is such a great blueprint that the rest of the country should follow. And is yet another example of why you should vote Republican this election, because we need law and order. You know, some people might say,
but all the violence and destruction is happening under Trump's presidency.
Yeah, that's true. It is happening under Trump's presidency. But what you got to realize is that man has offered federal help to all these different local governments, and the Democrat-run cities have rejected him. They've said, no, we don't want your help. So the reason why there's no law and order in Democrat-run cities is because of Democrat policies, which I just think is messed up. You should allow the federal government to come in and stop these riots, because it's devaluing your city through destruction, through crime, making it unsafe. People are fleeing. People are fleeing Los Angeles and New York right now in record numbers. Who would want to live in New York right now? Everything that's good about New York, the culture, the nightlife, the restaurants, the bars, are gone. They say that 12,000 businesses, small businesses, which includes restaurants and bars, are gone from New York City. 12,000. That's crazy. You know, I just can't. For me, if you don't have access to that stuff living in New York, there's no reason to live there. And not even for careers anymore, because we can all do remote work. Most of us can. So, you know, I'm really disappointed with how these Democrat cities have gone. The one thing I ask, though, is if you're moving from Democrat-run city like California, state like California or New York, and you're coming to Florida, don't vote Democrats here. Like, things are good here because we have Republicans in power, in office. So don't bring your, blue mindset down to Florida and then put us in that position. We don't want to be in that position. We like our law and order. We like our lack of riots. You want a peaceful protest? Go ahead, no problem. I've gone to some peaceful protests myself. I've gone to Paint the Trump rallies. That's a peaceful protest. I've gone to Donald Trump rallies. Those are peaceful protests. We're not destroying anything. We're just supporting our president and celebrating this great country. So if you want to do that, no problem. But as soon as there's fires, destruction, broken glasses, projectiles being thrown, police officers being injured, can't do that. Should not do that. We should not allow that. So make sure you guys vote Trump. Also, let me know what you guys think about the debates tonight. We had Pence versus Harris in the debates tonight. Personally, I think Pence won. I think he did a good job. He's like a very steady ship, that guy. He's so steady. But I'm excited to see what the MSM says about the debate. Anyway, plans changed. We're in Sarasota tonight. We're going to be in Sarasota tomorrow, back on the street interviewing people about the upcoming election. So I'm excited. My first time in Sarasota. If you guys have any suggestions of where to eat, where to go, drop them in the comments, and I'll try to check those out. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do here. Please subscribe. If you did not enjoy this video, you know what to do here. Please subscribe. And as always, be free, my sheeple.